Hi everybody. I just want to touch base on a couple common concerns. There's not a lot today. You guys are doing amazing. I spent most of the week reading through all of your short stories, and by and large we're doing great. Not a lot of genre fiction going on. You guys are really kind of stepping up to the whole literary fiction ideas that we're working towards in this class. We want to remember as we move forward that our characters need to do more than just be. We really need them to do stuff. And for the most part, we are having them just dive into their worlds and do things. But we want to remember they need to be doing things even when they're not doing things. For instance, when we're having some dialogue, which we're talking about this week, having some dialogue going on. Remember, when we talk to each other, we don't just sit and not move when we talk to each other in real life. Remember, we want to have our characters kind of reflect real life, or at least mannerisms and that kind of thing. So one of the ways we can really have our characters do is during conversations, have them respond and react as we would, as people would. So if you have a couple of friends drinking coffee and having a conversation about the movie they watched last night, don't forget that they have coffee in their hands, and from time to time they're going to take a sip or two. And the same if you have a character who's a smoker. Most of my characters smoke. So after every few sentences, have them take a drag off their cigarette. Remember, we use body language to talk too. I talk with my hands a lot. So make sure that when we're doing our dialogue, our characters are moving and there's my fan, and talking with more than just their mouths. And that's a really good way to bring that being, that action into our characters and helping them become well developed and well rounded. And remember too, another way to have our characters do is by having them observe the environment around. Like the example we did a few weeks ago, when you walk into a room, you never just walk into a room, right? You notice the walls, the temperature, the smells, that kind of stuff. So as your characters are moving through their worlds, make sure that they're interacting a little bit. Maybe if they're having a conversation, they look up and they notice that there's an uneven ceiling fan up there or something. Just remember to get out of our character's head and into the real world. And that's just a quick tip on how to have our characters do more than just be. Another real quick common concern is, what did you guys think of that short story we just read by Saunders, huh? It's often, the Semplica Girl Diaries is often very, very polarizing because of the way that he writes. It's very affronting almost the first time you read it. It's something that it's not the way that we talk. He's not using the word the. It's almost shorthand, right? And this was a deliberate choice on Saunders' part to kind of reflect on the idea that we tend to pay attention to the minutia rather than the big thing. The SG girls are essentially refugees who come over to America, we assume it's America, come over to this place, first world country, and they actually get wires drilled through their heads and they're hung up like flags in their yard. That's very dystopian, very disturbing, and yet most of us, myself included, are more put out by the way it's written than the content. And so it's Saunders' own way of doing some social commentary. Now this guy, you wouldn't know from the way he wrote the story, is a well-respected, much lauded, much awarded author. So one of the comments in the discussion board made me laugh, like maybe he doesn't have a mastery of English. And maybe the character doesn't. But that was just Saunders' way of showing a very unique voice. And whether or not we like the content, we do have to admit it was an interesting approach to having that strong voice and kind of underscoring that social commentary that we as a society may pay more attention to the little things than the big things. So that was interesting. The third quick thing I want to talk about is part of our assignments, especially in the short story discussion forum, is to get beyond our initial reaction. Do we like it? Don't we like it? And by all means, we need to have that conversation. It's part of it. But a big part that some of us tend to kind of skip over is, what can you take from that author that we're reading and apply to your own writing? And the thing is, if you got nothing from it except for maybe a new way to approach grammar or to underscore the importance of grammar, say with Saunders' piece, that's still something that you can put in there to receive all your points. It's one of the critical elements to make sure that you are assessing how you can apply those concepts, those techniques that these authors do, to your own writing. So when we fail to even acknowledge that, yeah, the grammar sucked in this piece, I'm totally not going to do that in my own writing, we tend to lose points. So I just want to make sure that we're all connecting the work we're using, the work we're reading, to the work that we're writing, even if we don't necessarily like the piece. Okay, we want to dig a little bit deeper below the I like it or I don't like it. All right. You guys are doing great. I had a wonderful time reading all your stories. Such a wide variety of stories going on. It's been a great term, and it's just going to keep being great. It's going to be awesome. You guys got this. If you have any questions, text me, chat, email me, hit us up on the general discussion forums. We've got very little time left. We're almost done. It's going to be great. You guys got this.